The Secrecy of Absence. I have been thinking recently, thinking a lot, although I fear that is what I do most of the time, or what I do the most. Think rather than do, rather than build, rather than arrive at the thing the thinking is supposedly preparing me for. The thinking has become the thing. I am not sure when it happened. I am not sure there was a moment, a switch, a day I can point to and say, there, that is when the thinking replaced the living, when the preparation became permanent, when the rehearsal forgot it was a rehearsal and started performing itself as the main event. It happened gradually. It happened secretly. It happened in the absence of my noticing, which is, I suppose, what this is about. If I was to point out the obsessiveness, how I circle things, orbit them, return to the same questions at the same hours, with the same inconclusive results. If I was to point that out, or the lack thereof, the refusal to call it obsession because obsession implies a fixation on something specific, and this is not specific, this is ambient, this is weather, this is the background radiation of a mind that cannot stop processing and has forgotten what it was processing for. If I was to make that observation, what would I gain? Another thought, another layer, another orbit around the same center that may or may not be empty, and the uncertainty about whether the center is empty is itself another orbit, and I am circling the circling now, watching myself watch myself, and the watching has become its own form of absence, because while I am watching, I am not here. I am above, behind, beside, everywhere except inside the moment that is actually happening. If I was to point out the escapism, or the lack thereof, because is it escapism if I am not escaping toward anything? Escapism implies a destination, a fantasy, a preferred elsewhere. I do not have a preferred elsewhere. I have an allergy to here, an allergy to the present tense, to the unedited, unnarrated, unrehearsed texture of a moment that has not yet been processed by the machinery of analysis. I cannot sit in a moment without annotating it. I cannot feel a feeling without filing it. Something happens, a sunset, a sentence, a silence that lasts a beat too long, and before the experience has finished arriving, the commentary has begun. The experience is still landing, still touching down, still making contact with whatever part of me is supposed to receive it, and already the narrator is talking over it, interpreting it, placing it in context, comparing it to other sunsets, other sentences, other silences, stripping it of its rawness, clothing it in language, converting it from a thing that is happening into a thing that has been understood. By the time I experience it, it is already past, already processed, already absent. This is the secrecy. Not the absence of people, places, languages, though those are absent too, stacked in the chest like geological layers, each one the sediment of a leaving I did not fully feel at the time, because the narrator was already busy converting the leaving into a narrative about leaving, packaging the loss into a shape that could be stored, shelved, retrieved later for examination. The real absence, the secret one, the one that operates beneath all the others, is the absence of contact, the absence of the unmediated moment, the absence of the thing before the thinking about the thing. I live one layer removed from my own life. I watch it through glass. The glass is the thinking. The glass is clean, polished, transparent. I can see everything through it. I just cannot touch it. If I was to make a claim that I am in denial, that the thinking is a defense, that the analysis is a wall dressed up as a window, I would have to ask, denial of what? What am I refusing to feel that requires this much machinery to avoid? What is so unbearable about the unprocessed moment that I have built an entire cognitive architecture to ensure I never encounter one? I think it is the silence. I think what I am running from, if running is even the right word for something this still, this sedentary, this utterly motionless, is the silence that exists beneath the thinking, the silence that would fill the room if the narrator stopped, the silence that is not the absence of sound, but the absence of story, the absence of commentary, the absence of the self that the commentary creates. Because the narrator does not just describe the self, the narrator generates the self. The commentary is the identity, the analysis is the I. If I stopped thinking, truly stopped, not the performative stopping of meditation where the mind goes quiet for 6 seconds and then congratulates itself for going quiet. If I stopped, what would remain? This is the question I circle. This is the center of the orbit. This is the thing that might be empty and might be full. And I cannot tell the difference because telling the difference would require looking, and looking would require stopping, and stopping would require letting go of the only thing I know how to hold, which is the thought, which is the analysis, which is the circling itself. I am in denial. Apparently not so much, since I can write this sentence, since I can name it, since I still know deep down, deep within, beneath the layers, beneath the processing, beneath the narrator and the commentary and the glass, that the absence speaks. It speaks so much, yet so little, so loud, yet so silent. It is the longing and the pull of the silence, the lack thereof, or the presence therein. I do not know which. I have never stayed quiet long enough to find out. I have never sat with the silence long enough to determine whether it is empty or full, whether the absence at the center is a void or a presence so total that the mind, unable to process it, registers it as nothing. I fear the thinking more than I fear the silence. That is the confession I have been circling. Not that I think too much. Everyone who thinks too much knows they think too much, and the knowing changes nothing, because the knowing is itself a thought, and the thought feeds the thinking, and the cycle continues, self-aware, self-sustaining, self-defeating. The fear is not that I think too much. The fear is that the thinking is all I am. That if I removed the analysis, the narration, the compulsive commentary, if I peeled it away like I have peeled away countries, languages, identities, versions of myself that no longer fit, there would be nothing underneath, no core, no substance, no self that exists independently of the thinking about the self. The absence beneath the absence, the secret beneath the secret, the possibility that the thing I have been protecting with all this cognitive machinery is not fragile, not wounded, not too tender to touch, the possibility that it is not there at all, that the machinery is not protecting something, the machinery is producing something, the thinking is generating the thinker, the circling is creating the center. Stop circling, and the center does not get exposed, the center disappears. I have come close. There have been moments, 3 a.m, end of a long shift, body exhausted, mind too tired to perform, when the machinery stuttered, when the narrator paused mid-sentence, when the glass between me and the moment cracked, and for a half-second I was not observing my life, I was in it, inside it, touching it without gloves, feeling without the intermediate step of interpreting the feeling. Those moments lasted less than a breath. They were over before I could name them, because the naming was the narrator returning, the glass reassembling, the machinery rebooting after a momentary power failure. But in that half-second, in that gap, that stutter, that crack in the glass, the silence was there. It was not empty. It was not full. It was something else. Something the words empty and full are too small to describe, too binary, too indebted to the logic of containers and contents. The silence was not a container. It was not content. It was the room itself, the room without furniture, the room before anyone decided what the room was for, the room that exists before the thinking starts, and will exist after the thinking stops, and exists right now, underneath the thinking, beneath this sentence, beneath this word, accessible at any moment I am willing to stop reaching for it, because the reaching is the distance, the effort is the glass, the search is the thing that creates the absence it is searching for. I have been thinking about this too long, I know that. I know that the essay about the absence has become another form of the absence, another layer of analysis between me and the thing I am trying to describe, another orbit, another revolution around a center I refuse to touch. I know that writing about silence is not silence. I know that naming the denial does not end the denial. I know that all of this, every word, every sentence, every carefully constructed paragraph, is the narrator doing what the narrator does, narrating, building the self from the raw material of its own observation, generating the thinker by thinking, producing the center by circling. But here is what I also know, what I know beneath the knowing, beneath the analysis, beneath the layers. The silence is patient. It does not compete with the narrator. It does not argue with the machinery. It does not fight the thinking for airtime or demand to be heard over the noise of the self performing itself into existence. The silence waits. It has been waiting since before I started thinking. It will be waiting after I stop. It is there between the words of this sentence. It is there in the space between one thought and the next. That vanishingly small gap, that hairline fracture in the continuity of consciousness, where the narrator has not yet started the next sentence, and the previous sentence has already ended, and for one immeasurable, unregisterable instant, there is nothing. The nothing is not empty. The nothing is not full. The nothing is what I have been running from, and the nothing is where I already am, and the running is the only thing preventing me from noticing that I never left. I have been thinking about this recently, thinking a lot. I fear that is what I do most of the time. But beneath the thinking, beneath all of it, beneath the fear and the circling and the denial and the narrator and the glass, the silence is still there. It has not moved. It does not need me to stop thinking in order to exist. It exists anyway. It has always existed anyway. It will go on existing anyway, with or without my acknowledgement, with or without my arrival, with or without my permission. The secrecy of absence is that it was never absent. I was just too loud to hear it. I have been thinking. That, I fear, is the problem and the proof and the absence all at once. Frieden, Kiyo.